Hey there, friends. How you doing? So I wanted to create this video because I wanted to share some experience I had with commercial brokers in Fresno specifically. This video is really intended to be thoughts for the commercial brokers across the country. It just happens to be experience I've had with two uh, commercial brokers in Fresno. I'm actually not going to name names because it's not about that. Uh, First off, my activity with these commercial brokers both resulted in no sale, meaning we didn't actually close the transaction. But I wanted to talk about my experience on one side and the other. One was a positive experience, even though we didn't sell the building that I wanted to sell, and one was a hugely negative experience that I wanted to talk about. Again, I'm not going to name names because that's not what this is about. So let's talk about the good one first. So I picked up in a building, actually two buildings during the crash side by side. And one of the things that I like to do is when an agent works with me in the beginning is reciprocate when I look to sell it. So this individual has, he's been tracking me. I think he talked to me at least once a year. He reaches out, right? He's professional at this, just to reach out, say, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? All of that. He reached out earlier this year and said, hey, I see that you've sold some of your other stuff of this size. What do you think about giving me an opportunity to sell, the one that we talked about? Right. He reminded me of my commitment to him, which is fair for him to do. I said, great. We weren't looking to sell that one, right? It cash flows crazy. But yeah, you know what? Let's make that one of our three buildings that we list because, again, we think people are overpaying. We first established a price point that was a reach, but he went after it and communicated about every other week with the activities and showings, how many people looked online. He was continually communicating with us, so I knew stuff was happening. About 45 days in, he said, hey, that reach price is a non-starter. So we let him know what our drop dead price was because, again, we don't want to sell it. So we changed the price to just a little bit above that. So we had a little bit of negotiating room. And he went after it again for 45 days or so. Again, communicating every other week or so what was going on. All of that listing gets set to expire, communicates a week out, 2 days out. And, then we talk about what do we want to do, right? Again, we don't want to sell it. Summer is not the best months to sell in Fresno. So we agreed to take it off the market. We may bring it on later this year, depending on where the market goes. We may not. Again, we're happy to keep it. But again, that's a working relationship. That's a broker communicating with his client. We would get an email or a phone call at least biweekly. So let's talk about the other side. Other side was probably my worst experience with a commission salesperson I've ever had. So we listed a building, decent communication up front, talked about price, leases, rents, all that stuff. Created a professional slick brochure, whatever you want to call it. Was fairly responsive, the first 48 hours, 72 hours. And then nothing for months, nothing, literally nothing. No emails, no phone calls, no updates. There was a sign in the yard. I actually went to the building a couple of times and there was debris, in there that wasn't cleaned up. So disappointed, like, have you ever been here? What's going on, right? I don't know what's going on. But the fact that there was no communication about showings, no communication about traffic, I finally broke down and reached out after 45 days and said, hey, what's going on? Nothing, right? Nothing, just words, nothing, no activity, no nothing. So, another 45 days go by. Still, I don't know what's going on, right? These commercial brokers not communicating and not saying what's going on. So I don't, what am I left to see after almost 5 months of zero communications going this way, right? I reached out, but nothing coming back the other way was hugely disappointing and stressful. I even dropped the price, even though I didn't think I had to, like 10%, just because I wanted to move it, right? It was something I wanted to move, but nothing. It was clearly I was not a priority. Clearly my little building was not important to them, right? They're big hot shots and do all this other stuff, I guess. But I was a non-starter. So I cancel it. I say, done. I'm going to move in, right? I'll take care of it, whatever. Now they're all like, oh, we just had a showing yesterday. Yeah, whatever, right? Now, what can I believe, right? It's just, in the end, commercial brokers, or really even real estate agents, if you are acting on behalf of an out of area seller, I strongly suggest you communicate once a week, once every 2 weeks, because if you don't communicate with us, we're going to assume you're not doing anything. And you do that long enough, and we're just going to take it off the market. And that's not what we want, right? We listed it because we wanted to sell it. But if you don't communicate with us, we will eventually create our own plan B, because your plan A is not working. So in the end, commercial brokers, you need to communicate with your clients. Even if we're just a small fish and you have other bigger things going on, you need to communicate with us, or we're going to eventually say no thanks. So that's been my experience. One very positive, one horribly negative. Neither one led to a sale. Even the great experience, sometimes it doesn't work out. But I know who is legit, and I know what it's like to work with someone who doesn't value you or your business. So just thought I'd share that. Take care. Bye.